All right. As a preliminary matter, this is Rob Benson, Vice Chair of the Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Just as, I guess, a prelude, Gary's not going to be here today. So I'm going to be chairing today's meeting, and we're just going to go forward here. So members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. And excuse me if I mispronounce any of the names. He sent an email that he was not going to be able to make tonight's meeting. Matthew Ronca.
Here.
Michael King.
Sorry, present.
Gary Trendle. He's not going to be here. Jane Moran.
Jane Moran, present.
Navdeep Arora.
He said he won't be here for the meeting.
All right. And Vakasith Prati.
Yes, here.
And staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. John Gelsich.
John Gelsich, present.
Stephanie Pemberton.
Stephanie, present.
And I'll say Phil Paradis.
Phil Paradis and Beta, present.
Okay. Good evening. This open meeting of the Planning Board is being conducted remotely. For this meeting, the Planning Board is convening by Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Additionally, the meeting may also be broadcast by HCAM through one of our many of its channels or platforms. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All supporting materials that have been provided to this member of this body are available on the town's website via the web meeting calendar. Notes otherwise. Just another couple paragraphs here. Meeting the conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will invite board members to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called further. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in any way that helps generate accurate minutes.
I'm gonna call my guy.
You sure you don't
I just call my guy.
For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and say your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, I will call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. So thanks for letting me read through that. And we're going to go right into our agenda. So I hope everyone had an opportunity to review the meeting packet. So we have four administrative items and 1 new public hearing. I'm just going to jump into the first administrative item, the Maspinock Woods bond release. So I know some of the members of the planning board know what this project is. Others may be less familiar, but John, do you know if the developer's on?
You can switch to phone audio. Can you open up the agenda on your phone?
I don't. Excuse me, Robert, can you mute yourself, please? I've muted you twice and you've unmuted, but we can hear you. All right, I'm just going to mute you. So just give a background on Maspinock Woods.
Yes, please.
Sure. So this is a garden apartment development over off of Elm Street. It's been constructed. It's been occupied for a while now. They are still going through the Concom process to just close out the Concom permits, but they've asked for a bond release from the planning board bond, which is in the amount of $298,200.00. So the process for this for the new planning board members is generally staff takes a look at the project, make sure that everything is complete. We've got a letter from the zoning enforcement official confirming that. This work has been complete. The planning board work, I should say, has been complete for a little while now. And then all it takes really is just a vote of the board to release this money. And then I write a letter to the treasurer of the town and they allow for the bond to be released. And it's just a process issue at that point.
Thanks, John. So this is an opportunity for any members of the board to ask any questions, and we could discuss it as a board if there's anything anyone would like to bring up.
To the chair, this is Vikasa. I see in this saying that the COMCOM has requested to hold off because the work is still yet to be completed. So I'm just trying to understand what still is pending from their end.
So I had the benefit of talking this through with John earlier. We don't really have any grounds to stand on to like not move forward with the releasing the bond as the planning board to adhere to that. So we shouldn't take that really into account.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Bob Torsch. I'm sorry, I just got my audio back on. I'm with Maspinock Woods. I just thought I'd announce myself and join in.
Hi, Bob. Would you like to give any additional commentary from your perspective?
I had to say I was having trouble with my audio. I just this moment joined the meeting. I was trying to get on, but I joined on my phone now, so I missed anything that was said. I'm sorry.
Okay. We've really just discussed that the project really from the planning board perspective is done. It's constructed. It's our zoning enforcement officer says it meets the criteria to be approved to release the bond. And I'm opening it up to questions to the planning board if they have any additional questions. And if you had any additional commentary you'd like to provide, please do so.
I don't have anything to say right off the bat. I feel like we completed the project and we worked with the residents and we've turned it over to them, and we seem to have taken care of all our kind of punch list issues with them that I'm aware of, and I don't really have much more to add than that.
All right, great. If there's no additional questions from the planning board, I'd like to entertain a motion to release the bond of $298,200 for the Maspinock Woods project.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Matthew Veronica, second.
All right, terrific. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm going to call for a roll call vote. Elise Mayalowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Matthew Ronca,
Yes.
Michael King,
Yes.
Jane Moran,
Yes.
Vaka Seth Prati,
Yes.
and Robert Benson is a yes. Do we have any additional action here, John, or we just
Nope. So now I will write a letter to the treasurer and we'll get that process started to release the bond.
All right, terrific. All right, we're moving to our second agenda item. And that's to release a bond for Eversource Upper Access Road bond release. So this is a $10,000 bond that has been put in place for Eversource Upper Access Road. Once again, it's another project where our zoning enforcement officer has confirmed the work has been completed and basically gives, says we're in a good place to discuss this and potentially release the bond, but it's an opportunity for the planning board to ask any questions. Another one, I don't know if the developer is on this call.
Jim Blackburn. I'm here with the Eversource.
Before we get to you, Jim, John, would you like to give any background on this project before I ask Jim for his comments?
Sure. So this is for the earth removal permit. Some of you on the board might remember this. This is for that access road on the site near the flare. They had to remove some earth off site. And as part of the conditions of the decision, there was a $10,000 bond that they paid. So this would just be releasing that bond as work has been completed.
Thanks, John. Jim, do you have any additional background information you'd like to share?
No, just that the work was completed, I believe, late summer of last year. I think we received the certificate of compliance from the Conservation Commission, so we're closed out from their perspective at this point. And the roadway, the stormwater infrastructure, that's all kind of in service and been in place now for the better part of 9 months with no issues as far as I'm aware. So we're just, from an accounting perspective, noticed that we still had bond out on this and wanted to come back and try to wrap things up with that. So.
All right. Any questions from any of the planning board members? If there's no questions, I'd like to entertain a motion to release the bond, the $10,000 bond for the upper access road for Eversource for earth removal.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Second. Matthew
Great.
Franco.
Let me just go through our roll call vote. Elise Mayalowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Matthew Ronca, how do you vote?
Yes.
Michael King,
Yes.
Jane Moran,
Yes.
Vakasath Prati,
Yes.
and Robert Benson is yes. All right, thanks, Jim. You're
Thank you very much.
so the next one is the next item on our agenda is an A&R, approval not required. I guess the right term is applicant. I'm not sure if that's the right term or not, but I know John has talked to, I don't know if you talked to Joe Marquardant or Dave Marquardant, I'm not sure, but if we could get some background on this project, that'd be great.
Sure. I spoke to Dave Marquardant. He came to the office today and I asked him to be on the call. I don't know if he is.
Yes, yeah, I'm here. Yep.
So what we talked about, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, this here and all of this and all, yes, and all of this. So this long parcel, this piece here and this piece here, not this piece here, we're all one parcel. And they are taking this piece and conveying it to this. And this is a separate parcel, and this is a separate parcel. Did I get that all, Dave?
Just about. Those hatched areas in the front are existing buildings. This is property owned by Joseph Irvine Jr. So the property fronts 23 feet on Hayden Row, goes back about 96 feet, and then goes northerly 94 feet. That front building is a building lot all by itself. The property that we're talking about is that next building to the east, right there. That's part of our property, goes over 232 in the back, comes back to the south about 100 feet, and then that long skinny piece that we call Lot 2B. That's all of what Mr. Irvine owns currently. What we're here for this evening is to take off B-2 and convey that to a piece to the south owned by Ken Driscoll, right there. Yep. That's going to be combined with that piece there. The remainder will be that 23 feet along Hayden Row and that existing building right there. And then just to the east of that is where we stop, where you see that dimension of 1796. That's the end of this lot right there. That's the end of Lot B. Everything to the east is going to be conveyed. Everything to the west of that line is going to remain as is.
Okay. I'd like to open it up to the planning board if there's any questions.
So through the chair, maybe just, I know that this is probably the first A&R for a couple members on the board, and maybe a good refresher for the existing members is what we're doing right now. Does that make sense? If I explain what we're doing right now?
Yeah, that would be terrific.
So in Massachusetts, this is a purely Massachusetts process. This is called the A&R process. It's approval not required. And what it means is it's an approval not required under the subdivision control law. So it's a subdivision of land that doesn't require a subdivision process. So usually if a parcel of land has enough frontage and lot area under the current zoning district that it's in, it can be subdivided without going through the subdivision process. The other quirk is if you're subdividing a non-buildable lot, as we are right now, because it doesn't have the frontage and probably not the lot size either, you can subdivide it as long as it's labeled as a non-buildable lot. What a lot of owners will do is something like this. If they're going to convey a portion of their land to a neighbor, they'll draw up a plan like this, marking that as a non-buildable lot, and then that lot will get conveyed to the other owner through, the deed process. So what we look for in an A&R is, does the proposed lot, the proposed new lot, have enough frontage and lot area under zoning to comply? And if it does, then the board can endorse the plan, and we'll have to have all of you come in and sign the Mylar of this if it gets approved. And then they'll go record the deed, and essentially that process, that subdivision process is done. Same thing as if it's a non-buildable lot. If it's marked as a non-buildable lot, which I believe it is on this one, you can do the same process, and then they don't have to go through the subdivision process, which is a much longer, more involved process. Any questions from the board on this before I pass it off? Okay.
Thanks, John. So I don't want to belabor it. If there's no questions, I'd like to entertain a motion to endorse the A&R for 85 Hayden Row, the Green Star property.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Matthew Franca, second.
Great. I'm going to go through the roll call vote. Elise Mayalowski.
Yes.
Matthew Ronca.
Yes.
Michael King.
Yes.
Jane Moran.
Yes.
Vakasat Prati.
Yes.
And Robert Benson is a yes.
Great.
So
Thank you.
Sorry, through the chair. So the process for the planning board members is we have the Mylar at the office, so we just need you to come in and sign your name. We need 5 signatures. So there's only 6 of you here. So we need pretty much everybody to come in and sign. I'm not going to be there tomorrow. The Mylar will be, so you can come in and talk to Steph, and she should be able to point you in the right direction. Or if Steph's not going to be there, Kobe.
Through the chair, I will be there till 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Marco, for coming on and explaining that.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Okay.
All right. So we're moving on to our meeting minutes for May 22nd. Does anyone have any questions for Stephanie or just in general about the meeting minutes for May 22nd, 2023? that was basically the last meeting we had, if my memory serves correctly. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 22nd, 2023.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Matthew Vronka, second.
Terrific. Here's, I'm going to go through the roll call vote. Elise Mayalowski,
Yes.
Matthew Ronka,
Yes.
Michael King,
Yes.
Jane Moran,
Yes.
Vikasath Prati,
Yes.
and Robert Benson is a yes. Good job, Stephanie. All right, so here I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for 188 and 190 Fruit Street for stormwater management permit.
And Jane Moran, so moved.
Thank you.
Matthew Vronka, second.
Terrific. John, would you like to start by giving the staff overview first or is that their normal process before the applicant gives an overview?
Usually we have the applicant present the project.
All right,
I'm most familiar with what's going on.
Yeah, let's do that.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Richard Valarelli, representing the owner here, Rebel Hill LLC, with offices at 77 City Point in Waltham. I'm not sure we're going to be able to present tonight. Our lead civil had something come up last minute and is not going to be attending the meeting, unfortunately. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to ask for a continuance and let you know that we are still waiting for comments from peer review from Beta that we will address. And also we're going to be resubmitting to the Board of Health for the previous septic permits that were issued, I think, in 2007. And we're concurrently going through Concom as well. And we have a hearing tomorrow night, which hopefully VHB, Nick, our civil, will be able to attend at that point.
I think at this point, since you asked for continuance, I think that's really what we need to vote on is, right, John? Do we have to move dates?
So the decision's not due until July 29th. This would probably get continued to July 24th. That's our next meeting. Because I believe we've canceled, or we are going to cancel the July 10th meeting. We can continue right now and have no discussion if you want. That actually might be good because we are missing 3 members of the board who would then not miss any testimony. Or the other option is
I think that's
itself can give our background, but I don't know if that's worthwhile.
I think it's the right thing to do because it is a high vacation time of year we basically postpone testimony because a continuance that was asked for.
So the only other thing I would say is we don't have to continue the decision right now, but we would definitely need to continue it at the next hearing because the deadline for the decision is July 29th.
Okay, so tonight we just have to continue the public hearing to July 24th?
Correct.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 188 and 190 Fruit Street to July 24th.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Matthew Vronka, second.
I am, we're going to set some kind of record tonight. So I'm going to go through the roll call vote. Elise Mayalowski.
Yeah, I won't be here for that meeting, but it's okay with me. So yes.
All right, Matthew Ronka.
Yes.
Michael King.
Yes.
Jane Moran.
Yes.
Vikasath Prati.
Yes.
And Robert Benson is a yes. So Richard, we look forward to learning all about this project at our next meeting.
Thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're out of agenda items. So I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn for this evening.
Jane Moran, so moved.
Matthew Vronka, second.
All right, let's go through the roll call vote. Elise Smailowski,
Yeah.
Matthew Ronca,
Yes.
Michael King,
Yes.
Jane Moran,
Yes.
Vikasath Prati,
Yes.
and Robert Benson is a yes. So enjoy, get back to your families, have a good night. We set some records of the quickest meeting ever.
Great job, Bob.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.